It was shortly after 5 a.m. Sunday when two men entered this Ottawa apartment building and started a fire. Terrifying actions captured on surveillance cameras. Residents say it happened about an hour after they confronted protesters verbally about noise outside the building. Allegations that someone tried to start a fire in this building lobby are driving a new wedge between residents and the protesters.
After discussing with Cabinet and caucus, after consultation with premiers from all provinces and territories, after speaking with opposition leaders, the federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act.
Orders of the day, ordre du jour, statutory order, consideration of a motion for confirmation of the declaration of emergency.
Mr. Medicino, seconded by Mr. Trudeau, moves that pursuant to Section 58 of the Emergency Act, this House confirms the declaration of a public order emergency proclaimed on February 14th, 2022. Debate, the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will be sharing my time with the Minister of Public Safety. On Monday, as we entered the third week of illegal blockades and occupations, the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act.
Violence is commonplace. We saw an example of this violence, an attempted arson downtown of an apartment building where people started a fire. When they exited, they taped the door.
The arrests for conspiracy to murder, attempted arson of a residential building, seen assaults, attempted arson, widespread harassment. There are reports of attempted arson, bomb threat. Canadians are also concerned hearing reports of an attempted arson in the lobby of a residential apartment building.
Over the past 3 weeks, we have watched assaults, attempted arson, an attempted arson of a residential building in the occupation area.
The incessant honking, the arson attempts,
and an attempted arson, all of which, Madam Speaker, was caught on video.
It has been an illegal occupation that has been harassing people in residential areas of Ottawa. People don't feel safe in their own homes. There have been reports of attempted arson.
And it certainly does not include arson or pushing into a residential apartment building and barricading the exits with handcuffs.
Because we see hate speech, we see illegal acts such as arson.
They have been living in fear that their apartment buildings may be torched by arson.
The incessant honking, the arson attempts.
We've seen the active sabotage of 911 emergency call lines and even an attempted arson.
Other alleged crimes have even been more egregious. Ottawa Police are investigating the attempted arson of a downtown apartment building. The situation persists, fueled in part by foreign funding.
We saw reports of attempted arson in some of the buildings.
Hate crimes, misogyny, arson.
Horns honked all night long. We saw thefts and attempted arson.
There's been attempted arson with the attempt of handcuffing doors shut so that if a fire started, people would be burned alive.
A building had an attempted arson where the doors were taped shut. Another building had occupiers attempting to handcuff the doors.
Death threats, an attempted arson,
Madam Speaker, yesterday at Public Safety Committee, Ottawa Chief of Police Steve Bell confirmed that no firearms were found during the clearing of the Ottawa protests. We also learned that an arrest was made concerning a disturbing arson attempt and that the accused had no connection to the protests. The NDP Liberal government have told Canadians that the protesters were responsible for this heinous crime and that they were armed. The evidence says otherwise. Will the Minister of Justice take responsibility on behalf of his government and acknowledge that they were spreading misinformation?